When it was realized that the Earth could not sustain life for much longer, the future of humanity needed a new plan. Thus, Raj Patel, Vishram Mazumdar, Renee Shah, Kanav Arora, and I, Vaishnav Krishna Kumar, came together to create Transcendence, an enormous spacecraft that would orbit around Mars. The settlement has an ellipsoid shape which was perfect for the building of a civilization that would stand the test of time and space, in environments where very few humans have dared to go.
Any functional and self-sustaining settlement needs to allocate appropriate locations and space for sectors. Now, as we can see from this diagram, it shows us locations for each sector. For most of the sections, such as recreation or emergency or control center, we have locations A and B, or north and south. Therefore, if there is any emergency or repairing taking place in a certain location, our citizens can head to the available locations. Externally, we have the residential layers A and B, along with the protective coating and escape pods. We also have solar panels pasted on the entire settlement, of course not covering sections such as a residential layer and a protective coating. And these solar panels help us get the maximum amount of solar energy that we could from the sun. So also in the interior, we have our nuclear core, ozone, and hydrozone, which are located near the industrial and agricultural sections, which require the most energy. So for example, for our entertainment sector, we have swimming pools and other water sports, which will require a lot of water. And that is why hydrozone is conveniently placed there.
The next thing that needs to be addressed in any self-sustaining settlement are the basic needs of the citizens. These include the food, the water, and the shelter-based needs. On Transcendence, fruit is grown and stored in the Agri-Zone, a huge sector that has over 75 million cubic meters of space. This space is allocated to grow stacks, which is seen right here, food storage, agri-labs, and giant fields for growing food. The next big basic need is water. On Transcendence, there will be over 684,000 cubic meters of water stored for a 3-month stock. In the hydrozone, there will be specific mechanisms to filter and recycle water. Some of these mechanisms are shown here. The hydrozone also has hydrolabs that will work on the production of water, the maintenance of water, and chemical extraction of waste. In addition to water produced and recycled on the settlement, we will also be collecting water from polar ice caps on Mars. The people of Transcendence will live in pods as shown here. There will be 3 types of pods: common pods for most people, special pods for people with special needs, and control pods that take charge in case of emergencies. These pods will come together to form the residential sector of Transcendence that will lay in a ring-like manner around the settlement.
The goal of Transcendence is to preserve human life in outer space long after the Earth has become inhospitable. Thus, to ensure the success of this project, many life support systems have been put into play. These include emergency procedures such as fire procedures, emergency lockdown procedures, disease control procedures, and nuclear meltdown procedures. There is oxygen production, oxygen recycling, oxygen ventilation, and filtration. Next is radiation. On the Earth, we have the luxury of our atmosphere to protect us from radiation. Thus, on Transcendence, we have placed many radiation shielding and monitoring systems to ensure all our citizens are healthy. There's also healthcare such as hospital, clinics, and dental care, again to ensure the health of all our citizens. There are many backup supplies in case something goes wrong with the food production or manufacturing on Transcendence, so we have backup supplies to take care of that. There's also emergency evacuation. If something goes wrong on Transcendence and the citizens have to leave the space station, they can evacuate using their residential pods.
To run a settlement such as Transcendence, lots of energy will be required. Much of this energy will come from solar panels that are all around the ship, in addition to an external solar panel array that will be connected to Transcendence once a day. The next main source of energy is the nuclear reactor. A nuclear reactor can take thorium, uranium, and hydrogen cells to produce energy. Thirdly, we'll be producing energy using the human resources on Transcendence. This includes energy production via electric bikes, triboelectric nanogenerators, and kinetic pavements. The following chart summarizes the ways we produce energy on Transcendence. To channel energy throughout the settlement, there are 4 major levels of the electrical grid. The global grid, which connects all the levels, the level grid, which pumps electricity through each of the 10 levels, the protective coating and the residential pods, the local grid that connects the regions within each of the levels, and the individual grid which blocks off every separate room.
So on Transcendence, we also focus on research and development because that is how humanity has progressed and will continue to progress. Now in physics, we'll be focusing specifically on asteroid mining and zero gravity, along with any celestial objects that we may come in contact with. For biology, we will be focusing on muscle growth, muscle atrophy, along with bone growth, and we are actually planning on planting crops in Mars, so we will be also focusing on that. Water filtration and energy production are both crucial parts in any space settlement. Therefore, our chemistry team will be looking towards solving issues and creating better methods of transferring energy and water. And finally, we have a team which deals with computational technologies. Now, most of Transcendence relies heavily on programmed functions, so why not improve the efficiency and defense from bugs and external unwanted hackers of computational tasks and ensure safety of the settlement? Therefore, our computational technology team will be developing faster methods or more efficient methods on transferring data and controls throughout Transcendence.
For Transcendence to successfully run, the socio-political aspects of the settlement were fine-tuned to perfection. This includes the economics and entertainment factions of the ship. The heart of Transcendence lies within the ministries. Each ministry is responsible for a certain faction of the settlement. Individuals applying for a job apply to the ministry that houses its occupation. The ministries on Transcendence are Ministry of Law, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Engineering, Ministry of Science, and Ministry of Health.
Transcendence will have a command economy system in which the council, consisting of 9 members, will oversee all activities and ensure a safe working environment on the spacecraft. This economic system is in place to ensure that a single person does not get power and authority over everything occurring on the Transcendence. Similar to most economic systems on Earth, Transcendence will also have 3 economic sectors.
Transcendence will utilize a digital banking system by using Transcendence cards, commonly referred to as TCs, and Transcendence card checkers, commonly referred to as TCCs. A TC functions as a key and a debit card. It is essential that a civilian of Transcendence has a TC as they are required for essentially all parts of the settlement. Civilians can get their physical activity at one of the 2 recreational centers on the settlement, flexing studios or sports crib. At flexing studios, civilians can utilize the weights and condition their body to their preference. At sports crib, individuals can play one of the many sports available to them, which include microgravity sports like jump ball and dodgeball. To keep the civilians occupied, Transcendence also has a virtual zoo. Through enhanced technology, the virtual zoo allows an individual to feel as if they are walking through a real-life zoo. This zoo is filled with various exhibits, including fossil displays, rides, aquariums, animal rides, and of course, many enclosures with creatures from all across the globe.
To ensure Transcendence is a fully functioning settlement, we must first assemble it. The assembly occurs on Earth and in outer space. Transcendence is comprised of many individual sections that will be put together in outer space. And all these individual sections are quite large and will be assembled at the Kennedy Space Center in order to ensure they can be built properly, because the Kennedy Space Center has the resources present to launch these sections into space. Next, the extraterrestrial assembly occurs. Each section on the Transcendence has the ability to survive by itself in space, and thus all these sections will be launched into space and then be assembled extraterrestrially before all the citizens are shipped off together.
For as long as our civilization has existed, humanity has been constricted to Earth. We have grown, divided, and conquered every square inch of this world we call home. As mankind destroys this world, where will the future turn to avoid extinction? Transcendence is humanity's answer. Upon launching the settlement, we will move human civilization into its next chapter of existence and transcend into the unknown depths of space. Transcendence by Vishram Mazumdar, Kanav Arora, Vaishna Krishna Kumar, Vraj Patel, and Renee Shah. Special thanks to Miss Mate and Central Peel Secondary School for making this possible.